Welcome to Conversations Live. For more than a decade, we've brought you the best in books, entertainment, celebrity interviews, and current events. When the movers and shakers of the world have something to say to you, they say it to us first. Here's your host, Cyrus Webb.
Welcome back, everyone, to Conversations Live. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Glad you all could join us once again. For a radio audience tuning in at WYAD 94.1 FM and WYADonline.com, we're glad that you all can be with us. Also, to tuning in through iHeartRadio and Amazon Music Broadcast, we're glad you all could be with us as well. Well, here in my home state of Mississippi, school students are already headed back to school. So, of course, parents are talking about a lot of things, including, of course, finances in the future. According to a new Bank of America survey, more than 2 in 3 current students are motivated by the potential for financial security rather than fulfillment in their future career path. So this is an important topic for all of us to think about, and we have a great guest here to be able to talk to us about some great tips for you. We're excited to welcome Growley to our broadcast. She's the head of consumer deposits for Bank of America. She's going to not only provide some tips to help parents teach their children responsibility when it comes to financial practices, but also let you guys know where you can go for more information as well. Robin, thank you again for the time. Really appreciate you stopping by today.
Oh, a pleasure to be with you, Cyrus. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, the pleasure is definitely all mine. So as I mentioned, Bank of America did a recent survey, so this is something that is definitely top of mind. Robin, how can parents help their children adopt more positive financial habits?
Yeah, well, financial stability is top of mind for younger generations, and being able to talk openly about money management with parents, grandparents, or trusted individuals, it is paramount to setting our young adults up for financial success. So I really advise everyone to start with the basics of budgeting. Many of our children have had summer jobs, so they were able to, do babysitting, mowing lawns, allowances, and they were really able to start learning the meaning of a dollar. But especially as we are preparing some of our older children to head off to college for the first time, it's important for them to understand how to effectively budget so that they can ultimately save, and then that's going to help them move towards their longer-term financial goals. When I say budgeting, a lot of, adults and sometimes the children are like, oh, that sounds so intimidating. It's got to be really challenging. But what I would say is keep it simple. As you're having the conversations with your children, help them think through how much money they have coming in. Maybe they're going to be working an after-school job this year, right? Or maybe they just have the funds that they've saved up from their summer job. Think about how much they have coming in and then compare that to how much they're spending, right? How much do they have going out? And when we think about how much they are spending, where I would kind of challenge you a little bit to have a deeper conversation is more around the needs versus the wants. Now, I'm a mom of 8-year-old twins, and we have this conversation a lot. Do you really need it, or is that just something you want, especially around the video games, right? And so I think, helping children start to have that conversation and think through what is needs versus wants, that becomes a teachable moment for you and your child. And then as they can kind of start to separate needs versus their wants, that'll give them the opportunity maybe to pull back on some of the non-essential purchases and ultimately end up saving, right? Being able to have a couple of dollars to save, that'll help, again, move them towards their longer-term financial goals.
Robin, you bring up a really good point, and that is something that will help them, but also us as adults as well. And we know that when we start thinking about financial stability or financial wellness, it gets complicated for all of us, right, even as adults. But for children and for kids in particular, where should parents start when it comes to this conversation and this whole thought of financial wellness?
Yeah, well, I think it's important as a parent to realize that teaching kids about finances, it does take time, right? And understanding budgeting, that's a skill that's only developed with practice. And even as adults, right? I mean, we may set a budget, we may not stick to it, so we've got to go back and reset our budget, right? So it really takes practice and a lot of just conversation over time. But to understand, I think, the importance of living within your means, that's another, I would say, kind of life lesson, right? And then also the power of savings too, right? Just because you have money in your pocket doesn't mean you have to spend it. to save it, right? That's a really important conversation. And I always kind of talk about the ability to start by saving just a few dollars. I think sometimes it becomes intimidating. It's like, oh, I've got to start saving. That means it's a big amount that I need to save. Nope, not true, right? You can start by saving just a few dollars, and then as your child, has a few more dollars, and then that starts adding up. Then before you know it, maybe they've saved $20 for the month, and then that starts the positive momentum that we want them to see. The other part I would add in there, too, is that, as you start talking about savings and you're seeing that resonate with them and they're accumulating some savings, what's important is being able to put that savings in a dedicated account, right? That way your young adult, your child, is not tempted to spend their money on that impulse buy, right? They're like, oh, my friend has it and I want to go get it too. Nope, they've got that money into an account and they know the purpose of that account is to save it. But then also that account will be able to more easily allow them to see their money growing over time. So look for, across the industry, there are many great accounts out there for students that have certain benefits and waived fees. At Bank of America, we have our Advantage Savings account. It's a great option for students under the age of 24. We waive all the monthly maintenance fees while they're enrolled in school. So think about those types of tools and options that will help your students stay on the right path.
Such great tips, and it's great to be able to know those resources are available there, Robin. You mentioned, of course, what Bank of America offers. Is there anything else that's there to help parents kind of balance saving with other spending priorities?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think another great tool that we offer at the bank is called our Keep the Change program. And so this automatically rounds up any debit card purchase to the nearest dollar, and it transfers that difference or the change from their checking account to the savings account. We typically see, your youth, your young adult really using the debit card. And so this is a great way to not only be able to spend using their debit card and spending responsibly, but then having that change move from checking to savings, that will really add up over time. And the good thing is in July, we actually enhanced this experience. And so now our clients can conveniently enroll and keep the change on their mobile device. And we know that so many of our youth these days have their phone in their hand, right? And so being able to enroll in it online and then also going back and being able to check and see how much they've saved because of the Keep the Change program. We think that's a really great benefit, and we're starting to see many of our younger clients use that. And then the last thing I would just add in there, too, is being able to help our children understand the importance of paying themselves first, right? So if they have that after-school job and they have a paycheck coming into a checking account, helping them set up an automatic transfer from their checking account to their savings account, right? They pay themselves first. Essentially that, $5, $10, whatever they may decide to move from checking to savings, it moves automatically. They don't have to remember to do it, so they're paying themselves first. We see that as a really successful tactic, and again, nothing that you need to put on the to-do list and to remember. It just happens automatically and seamlessly.
Some really great tips, Robin. Glad to have you here to talk to us about it. Again, everyone, Robin Growley has been our guest. She's the head of consumer deposits at Bank of America, helping you guys to be able to teach your children about responsible financial practices. Great for back to school, no matter what age of the kids. Robin, where can our audience go for more information?
Absolutely. They can go to bettermoneyhabits.bankofamerica.com.
And we'll make sure that we link that up for our audience for our Facebook page, as well as, of course, in the notes for the podcast. Robin, thank you again for the time. Really do appreciate it, and looking forward to speaking with you again.
Absolutely, Cyrus. Have a great day.
Hey, you as well. And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Conversations Live. Until next time, I'm your host, Cyrus Webb, saying as always, enjoy your day, enjoy your life, enjoy your world. Thank you all for choosing Conversations Live. Let's go make today amazing. Take care.